Good morning, Kalispell. So today I'm going to talk about cholesterol, a few drugs, and one of the largest studies that's ever been done in medical history. It's called the Framingham study. So to start our little extract that we're going to be going over, the book I'm using, it's called The Primal Blueprint by Mark Sisson, wrote in 2009. So, Lipitor is one of the most popular drugs in the United States. It sold nearly $13 billion in 2005. It's a statin, and it's a drug that's being prescribed for high cholesterol. This drug can cause muscle and liver problems, deplete coenzyme Q10. Some people call it vitamin CoQ10. It's a natural antioxidant and cofactor that's critical for cellular energy metabolism. So, these statins produce serious side effects, mainly by blocking the production and flow of CoQ10 into the mitochondria in each one of your cells. That's a trip back to high school biology. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and it deals a lot with adenosine triphosphate production. The disturbance of mitochondria hampers the body's ability to generate normal amounts of energy. So that, again, is ATP, and hence a common statin user complaint is that I feel tired and I feel weak. As well as CoQ10 also fights free radicals and helps moderate inflammation. Statins do not affect triglyceride, blood fat levels, or LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol or the bad fat. Statins do not decrease the risk of death in men and women over 65 who have not had a heart attack. More important causes of heart disease are inflammation and oxidation, driven primarily by poor food choices, excessive insulin production, and forms of stress that are excessive. The Framingham Heart Study. So this study's followed the dietary habits of 15,000 participants for over 3 generations. It's regarded the longest, most comprehensive epidemic study in medical history. It's led to the publication of over 1,200 research articles. The lead director, Dr. William Castelli, summarized the issue unequivocally when he flat out said, serum cholesterol is not a strong risk factor for coronary heart disease. Some of the study highlights, there's no correlation between dietary cholesterol intake and blood cholesterol levels. The Framingham residents who ate the most cholesterol, saturated fat, and total calories daily actually weighed the least and were the most physically active. That's pretty crazy stuff right there. A group called the International Network of Cholesterol Skeptics, which is a group of dozens of MDs and PhDs from all over the world, their research shows that atherosclerosis is caused mainly by excessive oxidation and the ensuing inflammation of certain types of cholesterol that constitutes a small fraction of mostly the good things in your bloodstream. Ironically, it appears that oxidation might be made worse by consuming the very cholesterol-free polyunsaturated fats and vegetable and grain oils that the medical world has led us to believe were healthier than animal fats to begin with. The millions who use statin drugs daily incur a significant expense and endure the disappointing side effects. For nearly all users, there is little or no demonstrable reduction in heart disease risk. Cholesterol is one of the most important substances in the human body. Every one of our cell membranes has a critical structure and functional component to it. Brain cells need cholesterol to make synapses, so connections to other brain cells. Cholesterol is the precursor molecule for important hormones such as testosterone, estrogen, DHEA, and cortisol. Cholesterol is needed for making bile acids that our gallbladder secretes and helps us absorb fats. The bottom line is that we can't live without cholesterol, which is why our liver actually makes up to 1,400 milligrams a day, regardless of how much foodborne cholesterol you consume or how much you avoid it like the plague with your diet. Excessive carbohydrate consumption causes excessive insulin production, and this insulin production drives the conversion of carbohydrates into triglycerides. Consuming too many carbs leads to high triglycerides. High triglycerides become LDLs, which become stuck in the spaces between the cells that line our arteries. Once the LDLs become stuck, they become oxidized. This oxidative damage causes inflammation and begins the whole process of atherosclerosis. Statins do slightly reduce the risk of additional heart attacks among men under the age of 65 who have had prior heart attacks. However, many doctors now are believing that these benefits are independent of the cholesterol-lowering properties and instead come from the anti-inflammatory effect that addresses the more proximate cause of heart disease. A cheaper and more effective anti-inflammatory effect can be achieved by eating foods high in omega-3s, which is what we always recommend to our patients, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 3,000 milligrams per day. You can take omega-3 fish oil supplements, or a small dose of aspirin each day will also help knock that down. We don't recommend that. In the case of statins, known side effects include muscle pain, weakness, numbness, chronic fatigue, tendon problems, cognitive problems, impotence, and blood glucose elevations. These effects are believed to be due in large in part to statins' interference with the normal production of the critical micronutrient known as coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 is essential to healthy mitochondria function. There's a lot of research out there on that. And the mitochondrial function helps defend our cells against free radical damage. Statin therapy is believed to lower CoQ10 levels by up to 50%. Ironically, CoQ10 plays a particularly important role in the healthy function of our cardiovascular system, and heart attack patients show depressed levels of CoQ10. Kind of like a mindful there. Some researchers suggest that statins' depletion of CoQ10 may nullify the potential benefits of statin therapy. So, I hope you guys found that interesting. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to shoot them over to us in a message, and we'll do our best to answer your questions as soon as possible. Have a great day, Kalispell.